Hello students, today we are at the last lesson of our second semester. That is lesson number 8, Important Acts by our Parliament. In the previous chapter, we learned about our government. What are the levels of government? In the central level, in the central government, all the decisions are national wise is taken by the central government. Then in the state government, the decisions are taken by the chief minister along with the governor of the state and also with the help of the other ministers. Then we also saw about the local self-government in the rural area as well as on the urban area. In the rural area we have Gram Panchayat, then in the urban area we have the municipal corporations. Now whatever meetings are held, everything is held in the Parliament, and the Parliament of India, it is in New Delhi. So all the meetings are held for the political parties, it is held in the Parliament office. Now, what does this picture say about law making in India? Who makes the law? Can you identify this picture? This is a picture of the Parliament, and Parliament is the principal law making body of our country. It makes laws for the entire country. And the Parliament also, it keeps in mind that it is the provisions, the laws, whichever are taken, it is under the constitutions of India. Now this is a Parliament. In this chapter we are going to see about important acts passed by Indian Parliament. So let's start. Laws, governance and challenges. The Parliament of India is the principal law-making body of the country. It makes laws for the entire nation. While making laws, the Parliament keeps in mind the provisions of the constitutions of India. Now, let us look at some such laws. So, 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. Let us see what is the law implemented in 1992 under the 73rd Constitutional. The 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act gave legal validity to the Panchayati Raj institutions. Though the Panchayati Raj institutions were in existence in various forms in various states, they did not have the status of formal institutions. They did not have regular elections. They were insufficient representations of weaker section. The institutions did not adequate power and financial resources. So Panchayati Raj. In the rural area, the Gram Panchayat are elected by the people of the villages, but only those people who were rich, who had a very higher position in the village, only those persons were allowed to cast the vote, and the women were not allowed. Also the people who were illiterate and who does not have any land of their own, they were restricted from the election, from casting the vote. So after the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, it gave the Panchayati Raj to cast the vote, to elect their leader. Everybody was given permission to cast their vote in the rural area. Next, the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act aimed to remove these problems and strengthen the Panchayati Raj system and increase people participation. It provided for panchayats to be elected at 3 levels, at the village, block and district level. At the first tier or village level, the panchayat is known as a Gram Panchayat. The member of the Gram Panchayat are elected by the villagers from their own village. Several Gram Panchayats form the Janpat Panchayat or the Panchayat Samiti. It works at the block level. Several panchayat samiti form the district panchayat or zilla parishad. It works at the district level. 1/3 of the seats in these panchayats are reserved for women. See, if we go back to the history, women were not given equal rights as men. Men were given all the rights. They can study, they can they can go for business, then they have all the rights, all the rights were given to the men. But women, what they were told to do all the household works, and they are also told that they have to look after their families. They were not even encouraged to be educated. But now, in the present scenario, after the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, we saw that a woman, there was a reserved seat for the women specially. So women also can participate in the election. There is no restriction for the women now. Women are regarded equally as men. Now, Right to Information Act RTI 2005. The Right to Information was a revolutionary act passed by the Parliament of India. The Right to Information Act RTI allows people to question the government on any issue. People can file an RTI query for any government department. When the department receives a query, it must respond within 30 days. So if you have any problem with the government institutions or with the government departments, so you can file a case against the RTI 2005. Here you have the right to question to the government on any issue you like. When the department receives a query, it must respond within 30 days after your query is being sent to the government. It is the duty of the government to respond to you back within 30 days. In its reply, the department must name the files which record the information required. So the department has to file the queries in different files. Have to give the title of the queries in different files, segregate the files. This gives the applicant a chance to inspect the files. It also permits the applicant to take photocopies of the notes made in the file if he or she wishes to file a case against the government. Thus, RTI makes the government transparent and efficient. It ensures greater accountability of the government officers towards the people. RTI is a boon, especially in rural areas. It has informed people of minor details like why their ration has been reduced, delayed, or is of poor quality. It has equipped the common people to spot corruptions in the government and to rectify it. Next, we have Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. We know that women were not treated equally as men, and they were also harassed by the man to the very extent. So let us see, after this act came, what are the changes has been come after. Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act is an act meant to protect women in India from violence and abuse in their homes. It was enacted by the Parliament of India in 2005 and brought into force by the Indian government from 26 October 2006. The Act protects women from physical, verbal, mental, emotional, and economic harm. It also covers harassment by way of unlawful dowry demands to the woman or her relatives. The Act also provides for the woman's right to live in her matrimonial or shared household. So, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, after the Parliament made this law, the women are being protected from the physical harassment, from the verbal harassment or from the emotional harassment. And after this act was passed by the Parliament of India, the women also, they are given the right to stay in their own homes. They will not be forced to get married. Okay. Now, right of children to free and compulsory education act, RTE 2009. Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act, RTE, states that free and compulsory education will be provided to all children in our country. It aims to provide elementary education for 8 years. This act covers all children between 6 to 14 years of age from class 1 to 8 standard. The RTI provides for education of every child in every school, irrespective of his or her social background or physical disability. It encourages private schools to reserve 25% of seats in each class for children coming from poor families. The Act also bans donation and interview of the student or parents for admission in any school. So after the right to education, free and compulsory education, that is RTE, it means that all the children from age 6 to 14 years has the right to be educated, and no school can say no to admission. They have to reserve 25% seats for the poor families. The private school, they should reserve 25% seats for the poor families. And then no matter from whatever background they are coming, the school has to grant them admission. So this was a right for the children to be educated, to get education. Now, let's move on to the exercises. The Parliament of India is the principal dash of the country, the law-making body. Law-making body. Next, the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act was passed in 1992. A government department must give a reply to a RTI inquiry within dash days of receiving it, within 30 days. Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act was enacted by the Parliament of India in 2005. Right to education provides elementary education to all children for dash years, for 8 years. Next, mark T for true sentences and F for false sentences. 74th Amendment Act is on Panchayati Raj. False. It was 73rd Amendment Act. Panchayati Raj Act reserves 1/3 seat for women at all levels of the panchayat. True. RTI aims at promoting child education. False. It is right to inquiry. RTE reserves 1/3 seats for poor children. False. 25%. Domestic Violence Act protects women from unlawful dowry demands. True. Next, match the following. Parliament of India, the law-making body. So, Panchayati Raj, it is the local government in village. Right to information, accountability of government. Zilla Panchayat, district level. Next, RTE, elementary education. So this was the end of the chapter. I hope so you have understood the chapter. So everybody, children, take care of yourself, and thank you so much.